Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite.
I'm Sarah, and I used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-size bed.
I'm Laura, and I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted.
And we've got a blank plate, baby, and we'll write your name.
We're rounding the edge. We're like turning the corner towards the ending finale of Life of a Showgirl.
I know. And I was looking at our stuff the other day, and in my mind, I was like, we have like 5 or 6 Tortured Poets tracks left for like when we, get back to doing that. No, we have 12 tracks.
Which is a whole album.
A whole Showgirl left.
A whole Showgirl left of Tortured Poets. Yes. I do have to say, I'm having a Tortured Poets renaissance the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be like up there in my top 3.
I thought we already knew this.
I mean, like, I feel like it's at least 2. Like,
yeah.
And Evermore's 1. It's just like so good. I was saying, like, we've talked about this all the time, but like when Showgirl came out, we were like, wow, our episodes are going to be so simple and like short. Mm-hmm. They haven't been because
although this one might be.
This one might be, yeah.
Yeah.
But like Tortured Poets is just like poetry, quill songs galore, the lore.
Yeah.
The sleuthing.
I know.
I mean,
and I don't know where it ranks for me. I know it's not in my top 3 because I would say Folklore, Evermore, and Reputation are still in the top 3 spots for me. But I really don't think I'll know how I feel about Tortured Poets for like, I need like 2 or 3 more albums to come out because I'm still figuring out like where Midnight's fits in for me.
I know. Because Midnight's is really high for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think my trinity is Evermore, Tortured Poets, Folklore / Reputation. Like it's just,
yeah.
It's hard to say, but Anyway, we're almost done with Showgirl, which is crazy. So,
which is good because we are trying to finish Showgirl before you take your maternity leave.
Yes. So listen, we mentioned in the last episode, we're like sort of front loading these. So our Taylor updates might be a little bit out of whack. But maternity leave is calling. So.
Right. And
trying to get
speaking
this
of
done.
That, since we're talking about your maternity leave, I am planning to continue the podcast, maybe a little less frequently, but I still plan to release episodes. And my plan is to do a couple interviews.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens and it goes well and you guys enjoy them. But we were hoping to keep giving you content while Laura is taking care of Bebe.
Hopefully, yeah. And that's exciting. We can have like some new people on the pod. And also, just a reminder, like we have a Patreon too. So like if you're really desperate, we will have new episodes on the Patreon. Mm-hmm. Not Showgirl stuff, but definitely give us a follow there. You can pay per episode if you want to. So lots of good. We have a lot of like heavy hitters coming, you guys. Like not to like tease it out, but like good songs coming up. So yeah, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I missed this or whatever, Patreon as well. So yeah. All right.
Well,
what's on our plates?
Speaking of, maternity leave coming up for you, what's on your plate?
Okay, I just have to give, like, I can't give any mothering advice. I'm not a mom yet. I can't give any pregnancy advice because literally I have no idea what I'm doing. But what I can say is all women, all people, I should say, who are expecting should throw themselves a nesting party. Okay?
Okay.
A nesting party is not like a baby shower. It's not even really a party. It's basically a day when you bring a select few hard workers into your house and you put them to work. Okay? And for me, it was just my parents, and that was more than enough. Like, I don't think I could have handled more than that because, But it was so great. We stocked up my freezer with like another cheat code. People are going to tell you, just like meal prep a bunch of stuff and put in your freezer. No. No. Okay, you by all means, yes, if you want to.
Uh-huh.
I took my little booty over to Trader Joe's with my parents and I just bought a ton of frozen stuff from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Nice.
it has all the directions there, variety of stuff. I'm someone who like kind of hates leftovers after a while, so I can't see myself
Yeah.
eating a lasagna for a week and being like, this is great, you know?
Right.
So we went to Trader Joe's on Saturday. No,
Mm-hmm.
Friday. And then on Sunday, they came and worked from like 10 to like 3, basically cleaning cars, installing car seats, just had like a list of all the things that needed to get done,
Yeah.
you know, organizing diaper caddies, you know, cleaning, hanging up clothes, washing clothes, just made a huge
Mm-hmm.
list of those like things that can get really overwhelming and just put the people to work. And it was
Yeah.
fun. And we like
That's a good
ordered
idea.
food and
Yeah.
had a good time. So I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm not like ready, but definitely feel like a little bit more prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, so highly recommend it. And that's what I did this past weekend. And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I saw Wuthering Heights.
I have yet to see it, but I've
I
heard
would
so many mixed reviews. How did you like it?
yeah, I would say that I liked it. I read the book years ago, but like
Mm-hmm.
couldn't couldn't have told you anything about it,
Yeah.
honestly. So before watching, I did refresh my memory a little bit reading the Wikipedia synopsis. And I was like, did I read this? Because I don't remember this at all.
That's how I feel about Emily Bronte and
Yeah,
Wuthering Heights. I'm like, I know I read them, but did
right.
I?
Do you
Yeah.
mean Jane Eyre?
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, Jane Eyre.
Yeah. See, Jane Eyre, I actually did love that book.
Yeah.
And I really loved the movie adaptation that came out in like 2010 or whatever. Which I want to rewatch
Yeah.
now because I'm thinking about it. But Wuthering Heights, I didn't like the book when I read it, but
I don't remember being obsessed with it the same way I was with like Pride and Prejudice.
oh yeah,
You
Pride and
know?
Prejudice is way more my speed. Um, so I knew that the movie was not going to be a faithful adaptation, like
Mm-hmm.
the creator said that.
That's why it's
So
put in quotes, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like I went into it just like trying not to really know that much about it. And I was just excited to see it. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like it is visually stunning. Like
Yeah, I mean,
every
it looks gorgeous. The
it
people in
is
it are gorgeous. I mean,
yeah.
come
And
on.
it's so beautifully shot. It's so stylized. I'm actually considering going to see it again just
I
because
heard
like it's a lot to take in.
I heard that a lot of people compare it to like cinematography. It was like it was shot almost like a music video,
Mm,
you know?
mhm. Yeah. And there was a lot of like visual storytelling in this.
Mm-hmm.
Um like with the landscape and the lighting and the seasonal things and the
Mm-hmm.
costuming and yeah, it was like very interesting. Like on its surface as a movie, I would say it's great.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of controversy around how it has changed from the book and things like that. But I don't mind, especially an old, long book like that, when you edit it to make it better for a movie, I'm totally fine with that.
Also, if you're
You
being
know?
upfront that that's what you're doing
Right.
too, you know?
Yeah. Like she said this from the beginning. Like it's not exactly what the book is, it's different.
Yeah.
So I would recommend seeing it. But the other thing is on Friday, because I saw it on Sunday, but Friday I started listening to the soundtrack that Charlie XCX did for it because the one song from it came up on a playlist for me and I was like, whoa,
Like
I
I
really
like
like this.
this. Yeah.
So I went to the album and I love this album. So I guess Charlie was asked to do a song for the movie and then got really inspired and she was like, how about an album? And so
Great. Yeah.
I'm not sure if Charlie was really involved with like more of the score of the movie or not, because the score of the movie is super cohesive with this album that Charlie made. But they only actually used like 3 or 4 songs from the album in the movie. So it's like kind of weird. Like it's not technically a soundtrack. It's like a Charlie XCX album, but then part of it's in the movie. I don't know. But like as I said before, I was not a huge fan of Brat, but I love this Wuthering Heights thing that Charlie did.
I like the dying for you.
Yeah.
That
Like
song's
a
great.
lot of them I really like. But at the same time, I bet you it's an album that I will hyperfixate on for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then like never listen to again.
I heard, okay, so I listened to it while I cleaned and I was like, this is good. But I feel like I haven't like delved into the whole world of the aesthetics and everything of the movie. So I feel like when it all comes together for me, I'll be like, okay, I'm into this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my favorite song was the first one that I heard is called Always Everywhere. I like that a lot. But in general, this album she made is very, very cinematic. Lots of strings, lots of like ethereal
Charlie's
vocals.
on like a tear with movies. Have you noticed that? Like, because she has another movie with Anne Hathaway coming out that she composed for. So
yeah. But like maybe she's actually really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do wonder, like, because of this like beef with Taylor and Charlie, like I feel like Taylor would love this movie and probably would love the soundtrack. So I don't know if Taylor's in a headspace. Like I'm sure she'll watch the movie, but it's a shame because I think if she and Charlie were on good terms, I bet she would be like sending a note
cheering it
to
on.
Charlie or posting something about, I don't know, but I could see her like sending a note to Charlie being like, I love this. You did an amazing job. I'm obsessed.
I mean, who knows? They might be good, but
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe not. But it is one of those things where I'm like, Taylor could definitely be doing that. You know, she could definitely be working with a director and being like, let me write a whole album based off of this character and whatever. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And there were like a couple lyrics that I was like, ooh, I could almost see this being like a Taylor lyric. But also a lot of this album was reminding me of the 1975, like especially the song About You. So I was like, let me go try to listen to the 1975 again, because I just felt like I was in the right headspace. I was like, I'm open to it. So I put on About You and I was like, okay, like I kind of like this, but I'm still kind of annoyed by like the vocals because you like can't understand a goddamn word he's saying. Okay.
That's not the point.
But then the next song came on and I immediately got the ick. And I was like, no, I'm done. No, that's a wrap for me on the 1975.
Okay. I sent you today. It's
oh,
I don't know.
Saw that.
I don't know what he's doing, but it's like Maddie Healy and Friends. It's with Tiny Habits.
Yeah. The acoustic-y show.
Yeah.
But they did There She Goes.
Uh-huh.
I did really like that.
Well, they did sort of an acoustic-y version of About You. I think you would like.
Oh yeah. But, Steph had sent me that today. So I saw them both.
I love the 1975. But I do think that, if it's not your thing, that's fine. But
it's a shame because
it's like, of the time. Like it was like Tumblr and like, just sends me right back. It's more of like a nostalgia trip at this point to listen to the 1975.
See, I think if I had that connection to it would be different. Like I missed the window because now with Maddie Healy being in my brain the way that he is, it's tough to get in there.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. But I definitely... Well, apparently Maddie Healy's a huge James Taylor fan because, like, he went to, like, James Taylor concert. Like, I could definitely see him being more, like, stripped back. Like, maybe he'll do a solo project or something. But I don't know. They apparently have a new album coming out soon. So
I'll have to give it a try, but I don't have high hopes for me.
Hey, I mean, Charlie, you're into that. You didn't like Brat, so anything's possible.
Yeah, but I liked other things of Charlie a lot.
See, I didn't really like anything else of Charlie's, but I loved Brat, and I was like, okay. Yeah. Anyway. So, all right, we got some Wuthering Heights. We got a nesting party. We were covering all the bases here.
Right.
I am excited for maternity leave because I've been purposely sort of like missing out on certain shows, and I have a list, and I'm like, I'm kind of like going to enter my like movie era, my like
And
TV
heated
era.
rivalry.
Yeah, like I got a list. And I'm sure I'm going to be bored, so I'm going to be like texting people voice notes being like, I just finished this. Anyway.
Send them all to me.
Yeah, so be prepared.
Okay.
All right, so Taylor updates. Well, we have a new remix of Opalite.
And we know that there's a total of 4.
Yeah.
Because she sold the CDs for them first.
Yeah.
But today the Chris Lake remix just dropped.
Yep.
And I'd never heard of him, but he's an English electronic dance music producer and DJ.
I don't know if I saw a fake AI thing or not, but it looked like Travis and him had a back and forth. I don't know. But
yeah.
Well,
the Taylor Nation post about this remix, the caption says that it's Travis Kelce approved.
Yeah. So maybe it was real. I saw that Travis and him they had seen him at Coachella. And that's basically how they connected. And then he did this and he was like, how'd you pump this out so fast, man? Blah, 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 blah. So
okay, cool.
Travis Kelce approved. So there you go.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I have not listened to it yet, so I'm excited to hear it.
It literally came out like an hour ago and I had to buy it on iTunes for 69 cents and I did.
Yeah.
Like I always do.
And I'll probably hear it on TikTok and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Also, we got some behind the scenes of Opalite, just a little sprinkle.
Yeah.
And
it was cute.
I mean, I still just stand by the fact that like she's just so cute. Everything I see her doing, I'm like, why her bangs so perfect? Okay, like
yeah.
Also, I do have to say, have you seen some criticism about the Opalite music video at all?
Oh, you mean this whole self-mythologizing thing?
Yes, and also just like how she sort of like constantly is like making herself young and infantilizing herself, if that makes sense. Like they're like, oh, she's like a 35-year-old woman who still acts like she's like 14. And I was just like, okay, guys, it's a music video. Like
14-year-olds go to karaoke bars and have cocktails.
I think they're mad because she looks young. I'm dead serious.
She looks young and she's making friendship bracelets, but we know that we all in our 30s
we all did
that.
Yeah.
Like, girls have hobbies, okay?
Yeah. People are like, she's like 35 and still acting like a teenager. And I'm like, okay, but like, it's a goofy, like,
right.
It's a goofy, silly music video. It's not taking itself that seriously. So you shouldn't take it that seriously.
Right.
So
yeah.
Don't be mad that she looks good in butterfly clips. Okay.
Right. Also, did you see the photos of her for the Showgirl photo shoot?
Yeah.
She
not what I would call infantilizing herself. All right.
Right.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I still love it.
And the like self-mythologizing, I guess people are like, some people think that the whole Easter egging thing is like a barrier to entry when it's literally just like the cherry on top.
It's just for fun.
Yeah. You don't
it's not that serious. Also, like she's not Easter egging is fine. But I feel like Taylor's Easter egging is not as serious as like what some Swifties make it out to be. Do you know what I mean? Like we read into all the weeds, but she doesn't really do that.
Right.
So.
And nobody has to in order to enjoy the music or the music video.
No.
That article is just pure rage bait.
Yeah, I agree.
That's for clicks.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're talking about Honey. Album Life of a Showgirl, released October 3rd, 2025. Written and produced by Taylor, Max Martin, and Callback. Fountain, quill, or glitter gel pen. What do you say?
Glitter gel pen.
I say glitter sun fountain rising. So, mostly glitter.
Yeah. I would say like 90% glitter.
Definitely. Sister song and related album.
For a sister song, I said Call It What You Want.
I love that.
Because in that song, she's kind of saying like, you can call this whatever you want. Like, I honestly don't care because I know what it is to me.
Right.
And then in Honey, she's saying you can call me whatever you want.
Right.
Because I trust you when you call me that you mean it and it doesn't mean something bad.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I said Wish List. Kind of another sort of like straightforward song where Taylor's just basically laying it out on the line saying, you know, this is what I want. And Honey is sort of like, this is where I'm at in this relationship.
Yeah.
So there's no like blurred lines or mythology to read into. Sort of straightforward. She's in love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Related album.
Lover.
The way that this song is more Lover than half the songs in Lover is crazy.
Right.
Am I wrong? Like,
I'm telling you, Showgirl is like what Lover wished it was.
Yeah, like it's Lover, but like secure attachment style. Like,
yeah.
And
actual bops. Although obviously Lover, the album, has like a ton of bops, but
of course. But like we've talked about this before, how we kind of think that Lover is probably her most disjointed, less cohesive album.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like Red and Lover are sort of like that, but Lover to me is like, with an album title like Lover, I want the sweet like honey pie songs. And this is a sweet honey pie song. Like this is not, I don't know, Afterglow. I don't know. It's just like,
although Afterglow is one of my favorites.
Yeah, but it's also like about fighting with someone that you love. It's like, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. I know. But I guess like the thing with Taylor is you really can't judge something by the title.
That's true.
Like think about the song Happiness.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not that happy.
No. Yeah. So she's always gonna like throw us a little bit for a loop there. It's never gonna be super literal.
I totally believe the rumor that Lover was going to be called Daylight before it was going to be Lover.
Yeah, and I think that Lover and Midnights are actually sister albums.
Yeah.
And Midnights was actually supposed to come shortly after Lover. And then we got Folklore and Evermore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Personal associations with this song. I love it. It's a cutie pie song, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just basically hearing Taylor share that she has like this renewed sense of what love and trust is, which is like, we're hearing confidence, which that's great. And this is just a great song to like shake your booty to. So,
right. Yeah. The song is a bop and I love it. Every time it comes on, I'm like, yes, honey.
Yeah.
Also, I think when we were making our guesses about what the songs would be about, and with Honey, we were like, I don't know at all.
Yeah, we
had like no idea.
We were totally lost. Also, Wood. We were also totally lost. We're like, Wood, Honey, no idea. Yeah.
But I think about Honey, I said something like, watch it end up like being my favorite song.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would call it exactly my favorite, but it's like way up there.
Yeah.
On this album for me.
It's definitely upper tier for me. But I think we speculated that it might be related to like Happy Gilmore too. Am I wrong? Because like, doesn't he get covered in honey?
Yeah. There's a honey thing with Travis.
Anyway, we were so wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
How about the folklore of this song?
Okay, so what Taylor has said about the song from the Showgirl movie premiere, she said, Honey is one of the first songs that we made for this record, and it's when we knew we were really going into new territory because it just feels different than things we've made before. Okay. Pause. Okay. And it just kind of was that first song that made us feel like this is a whole new album. Yes. Let's follow this.
Yeah. So this whole quote.
This is like the hugest tell, okay?
Yeah. So I'm confused because it's like, she said it's one of the first songs they made.
Yeah. For the record.
It was the song that made them feel like it was a whole new album. So does she just mean it had like a sound that they wanted to follow as kind of like a North Star for like what we're aiming for the new album? Or did they not know they were making an album until this happened?
To me, it's like, were you in the studio doing vault tracks for Reputation? Because Shellback and Max Martin were producers on Reputation.
Right.
Or were you like re-recording some parts of Reputation and then you're like, oh, let's mess around with some of this new stuff, whatever. Yeah. And Taylor's like, oh, I wrote this thing, let's just play it. And then that sort of guided a whole new record. That's how I read it.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. This is a whole new album. This was the first song that made us feel like this is a whole new album.
Well, what were you working on before? You know, Reputation, vault tracks is what I think.
Unless she just means like we've unlocked a new sound that can be a new album.
But this is the first song that made us feel like this is a whole new album, or it's like, well, what were you doing before?
Right.
And for what purpose?
And I mean, so I had mentioned before how like Max Martin was not involved in any of the other re-recordings, and he was huge for 1989, and he did not touch 1989 Taylor's version.
Right.
But we also know now that Taylor was really struggling with re-recording Reputation.
Yes.
So when she was in Stockholm, did she actually go to them, and to Max Martin especially, to basically beg him to be like, will you please get in the studio with me again?
Yeah.
And work on this?
I don't know.
And like, maybe like, let's start with vault tracks and see how this feels.
Right.
And get into a groove. I don't know, because like, we also know that she only re-recorded like 2 or 3 of the tracks. Yeah. And that, I think those were done before the summer she was in Stockholm with them, or in Sweden with them.
Here is what she said about Rep TV on her announcement. Like when she posted, I know. What about Rep TV? Full transparency. I haven't even recorded a quarter of it. The Reputation album was so specific to that time in my life, and I kept hitting a stopping point when I tried to remake it. All that defiance, that longing to be understood while feeling purposely misunderstood, that desperate hope, that shame-born snarl and mischief. To be perfectly honest, it's the one album in those first 6 that I thought couldn't be more improved upon by redoing it. Not the music or the photos or the videos. So I kept putting it off. There will be a time, if you're into it, for the unreleased vault tracks from that album to hatch. Interesting word choice.
Yeah.
I've already completely re-recorded my entire debut album. And then she goes on to talk about debut. So to me, it's like, okay, well, there are vault tracks.
Right.
So was she doing that? And then this sort of became a new thing? I don't know.
But it certainly does beg the question. What was going on there? What were they doing?
What were you doing? Yeah.
But also in the Amazon track by track, she said, Honey is a song about how words that have been meant to hurt you in the past can be repurposed by someone who loves you in a way that feels totally different. You know, if the only time you were called honey was when someone was like, that look is not working for you, honey. Like, that is very different than when somebody calls you honey in a sweet way, in a sincere way, in a lovely way. And it's kind of about sort of the idea of healing these old wounds that were caused by certain words that now feel totally lovely and sweet. So I also just love this song. It's such a bop. I just jump around to this song. This one's called Honey.
Yeah.
She's not wrong. It is a bop.
Yeah.
And you can like jump around to this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So cute. I love this song.
Let's get into it. Here's our intro.
You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want.
All right.
Right to the point.
You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want.
I've always, that little like clicking sound to me sounds like a metronome, because then the drums actually come in.
Oh, okay.
So in my brain, it's like piano, she's playing with the click track behind, and she's like letting us into like that, moment. But yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think it was in the like voice, the songwriting voice memo. She was like, she had not landed on the words yet, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think she was like, you can call me honey if you want. If you want, you want, or something like. So it's funny listening to that, because you're like, all right, Taylor, just get there.
She's getting there.
You can get it. You can find it.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of interesting about the song is that she doesn't go from like intro to verse. It goes right to the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
So again, she's like laying it out there. She's like, I'm not going to give you conjecture and context. We're getting right into it. So
yeah. And this song has the same confidence in the relationship that we also saw in Wood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similar. I mean, yeah, that's the thing running through Showgirls, like the confidence with like Opalite, Wood, Honey, Wish List.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's securely attached.
Absolutely. That is clear.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Here's the chorus.
When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive at the bar, and the bitch was telling me to back off, cause a man had looked at me wrong. If anyone called me honey, it was standing in the bathroom. White teeth, they were saying that skirt don't fit me, and I cried the whole way home.
But you can't help but just like move.
Yeah, it's got that like 2000s Max Martin like bass line, like bop. Yeah. It's good. When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive at the bar. Which is like, sweetheart is a passive aggressive thing to say. Like, oh, sorry, sweetheart.
Right.
The line's back there. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I can see the scene in my head,
Yeah.
And the bitch was telling me to back off because her man had looked at me wrong. Not that she did anything wrong, but
yeah, like the man looked at Taylor wrong.
Yeah,
Taylor wasn't doing anything.
What do you think you're doing here, sweetheart? Yeah,
yeah. It also kind of reminds me of who's Taylor Swift anyway?
Right.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah. If anyone called me honey, it was standing in the bathroom, white teeth. I love this line.
Yeah.
It's such a weird line. But the phrase show your teeth, it means like someone is like becoming angry or threatening. And it's a metaphor referencing animals like dogs or wolves who bare their teeth as a sign of an impending attack. But it's just like, it's like they're smiling, but it's like so fake.
Right.
It's almost like more of a snarl, which made me think of this line from Cassandra.
Twisting all my smiles into snarls.
Right. I just imagine like those fake like chiclet Hollywood veneers where it's like their like teeth are just like so perfect, and it's like honey, and it's like this fake like you said, like a smile into a snarl where it's like they're smiling, but they don't actually, it's not out of kindness. It's, and also like we know that Taylor has some bathroom trauma with with this iconic line.
Not we've been in a party bathroom, some actress asking me what happened you. That's what happened you.
So yeah, like I imagine like some actresses or like Hollywood types basically like calling her honey in the bathroom. Oh, sorry, honey, the line's back here. Yeah.
But this is also sad because to me, the women's bathroom is a place of like
safety,
kindness, safety, kindness. Like that's where drunk girls are like, oh my God, you're
so beautiful.
Yeah. Like, what's wrong? Are you upset? Like, did somebody break up with you? Like, where is he? I'll go throw a drink in his, it's like.
What happened? You.
Yeah. Yeah, like the all too well thing seems more accurate to a woman's bathroom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's sad to me that, like, if Taylor's, like, had these experiences, because then she says, they were saying that skirt don't fit me.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot imagine saying to another woman in the bathroom, like, that skirt doesn't fit you.
Also, this is Taylor Swift. Who would ever?
I know.
Who would ever?
Like, I would be like, oh my God, that dress was, like, made for you.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I would say to someone in the bathroom.
Of course.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not in Hollywood, so yeah.
No, true. Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that skirt don't fit me. Like, they're calling me honey. Oh, honey, that skirt just doesn't fit you. Like, you should have sized up a couple more, like, or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, they're being nice, but it's also you're not being nice. So
this actually sounds more like Mean Girls in the high school bathroom. Like, your high school bully.
Yeah.
Would say something like that in the bathroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I cried the whole way home.
Yeah. Which made me think of this from Dear John.
Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? The girl in the dress cried the whole way home.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor.
She's so young.
Just crying in the car.
Yeah. All right, then we get to our post-chorus. So here we go.
But you touch my face, redefine all of those blues when you say, honey.
Yep.
And I do love the way she goes, honey.
In
this song.
It's like half spoken. Yeah. All right. But you touch my face, redefine all those blues. Well, again, we said this in our last episode. There's like certain words in the Taylor Swift like vernacular that like when we hear it, we're like red flag, red, like whatever. And blue is definitely one of those.
Right.
So blues is obviously like sadness, right? But also like it's definitely Joe.
Right.
Yeah. You touch my face, redefine all those blues. I actually do read this as like she's talking about like sadness, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not about Joe, but yeah.
But I think it's like he's redefining blue for her because blue used to mean Joe and it used to mean sadness.
Right.
But now it means clear blue skies.
Right.
Like an opalite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I really like it because
yeah,
she was, for her, blue was Joe, it was sadness, it was depression, it was like bleak.
Don't want any other shade of blue but you, and like hoax. Just think about how like like heart-wrenching that is. Then it's like, no, he's redefining like what that even is to me. So
yeah, like you touch my face and you call me honey and everything has changed. You know?
Yeah, like it's actually kind and loving, and like when he means it, he actually does mean it. So
right.
Also, like the closest I've ever gotten to this experience is when a Southern it's so stupid. So like here we're Northeasterners, okay? So like if no one calls us like honey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like baby or like whatever. When I went to Charleston, we were like this huge group, chaotic ordering situation at like a diner. And this old Southern waitress, I was like, and could I get the hush puppies with that? She was like, sure you can, baby. And she meant it.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, right. Wow. Wow.
I feel like here we get a hun.
Sure, hun. Yeah.
Yeah. What can I get for you, hun?
But it's like, do they actually mean it? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like a bless your heart kind of thing.
No. Not that vindictive, no. But yeah.
Mm-mm.
I just remembered being called baby by this woman. I'd be like, I am a baby.
Baby is kind of crazy.
She meant it. It felt so natural.
Right.
I was like, all right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, let's get to verse 1.
All right.
Summertime spreads, pink skies. You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. Winter green kiss on mine. Give it different meaning, because you mean it when you talk. Honey, I'm home. We could play house. We could bed down. Pick me up. Who's the baddest in the land? What's the plan? What's the plan? You could be my forever nightstand, honey.
The way that took me so long to understand what forever nightstand was, I was like, I don't get it.
What did you think? Did you just have no idea?
I thought it was like nightstand.
Right. A lot of people did that.
And I was like, what? I don't get it. Like, you can be like my forever like furniture. I was like, I'm not understanding it. And I was like, oh, instead of like a one night stand, it's a forever okay, got it. Took me so long.
Yeah. Instead of a one night stand, we have a forever night stand.
So stupid.
Well, if it makes you feel better, the other day on TikTok, I was watching like an interior design video about someone painting her bedroom.
Yeah.
And in the comments, one woman said, I just did my master in statuary bronze. And I was like, she got her master's in a color? I thought she like a master's thesis in the specific color of brown.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm confused.
So that was my dumb moment of the week.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
we all do it.
We all do it.
But yeah, a lot of people struggled with the forever nightstand.
It's like, okay, this is not that complex, but yeah.
But we start with Summertime Spritz, Pink Skies, which Summertime Spritz was one of the
vinyl variants.
Was that the Target one?
Maybe.
The Crowd Is Your King. It has like the really, it's the prettiest one. It's like the shimmery pink, sparkly. Yeah. It might be that one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the vinyl variants for sure. I'm not sure which one.
Or was it actually titled that? Like the way that one's called The Crowd Is Your King. Was one called Summertime Spritz? Or is that the color?
I think that's just the color.
Okay, then I think it might be that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
It's somehow involved with the many vinyls that she did.
Yeah. Also, like, just the, like, you know, Summertime Spritz, Pink Skies, like, so dreamy. It's very Lover.
It is very Lover. And, like, Taylor has mentioned Pink Skies before because we have this in Invisible String.
Time, wondrous time, give me the blues and then purple pink skies.
Yeah.
She loves a purple pink sky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't love a Summertime Spritz? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. You can call me honey if you want because I'm the one you want. Wintergreen kiss, all mine. So we go from Summertime Spritz to Wintergreen kiss, which is a fun little wordplay thing.
Yeah. And I was like, wintergreen is like a flavor.
Yeah.
It's like a gum flavor. So I was like, does Travis chew a lot of gum? Like, what's that about?
Yeah, I bet he probably does because in a clip of, like, after they recorded the New Heights podcast, there was like a behind the scenes clip of who they call intern Brandon cleaning up this set after they had filmed. And you can see more of the desk where she and Travis had been sitting.
Yeah.
And there is a tin of wintergreen Altoids.
Okay, well, there it is. So, like, his breath does smell like wintergreen.
Right.
Confirmed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. That Travis smells like wintergreen when he kisses him.
Yeah.
Which sounds really nice.
I mean, very thoughtful, Travis, honestly.
I love wintergreen.
Very thoughtful. No one wants morning breath or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
You give it different meaning because you mean it when you talk, honey, I'm home. We can play house. Okay. Early stages of relationship, like, you know, when you're like, you know, what are we going to cook for dinner? Like,
Right.
Should I go to the grocery store? Or
yeah. Also, honey, I'm home is just such a classic line.
Oh, of course. And then we can bed down, pick me up. Who's the baddest in the land? What's the plan? Like, which like she's doing that question thing again. We have a whole Patreon episode on questions, so we'll link that. But here's question.
I'm sure that's what's suitable and right, but tonight, can I ask you?
Which, like, when you go, that's like sort of like a thing you do in a question anyway, like that. But like in question, it's like very much anxiety ridden questions that are like spilling out of her versus this, which are like really sweet and also like saucy. So
yeah. Yeah. This is like Naughty Taylor showing up again.
I
also love the wordplay with bed me down, pick me up. It's just fun. Also on the Honey lyric video, Taylor's on a broken bed. So, you know.
Well, we know that Travis is a large man, so.
Plus later she talks about like being on the floor.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And then we get that you could be my forever nightstand.
Yep.
So.
Oh, I didn't know this. The nickname for Cleveland is the land.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So.
That's interesting.
I had seen this online that this is definitely like a reference to Travis when she says who's the baddest in the land because he's from Cleveland Heights.
Oh, Cleveland.
And yeah, the nickname for Cleveland is the land.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Should we go to verse 2?
Yeah, because we can skip that chorus. Yeah, let's go to verse 2.
Okay.
You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. I'm the one you want. You give it different meaning, because you mean it when you say it's yours. Kicking in doors, take it to the floor. Give me more by the paint and the color of your eye. Of your eye. And graffiti my whole damn life, honey.
Okay, jazz flute.
I know, right? Such a random moment in the song, but it kind of makes it.
It's a nice little filler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sweetie, it's yours. Kicking indoors. Take it to the floor. Give me more.
Like I said, this one's like kind of like a secretly naughty song.
Secretly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She kind of sneaks it in here.
I just imagine the Kool-Aid Man in this moment. Kicking indoors.
He's like busting through the wall.
I was like, hold on, slow down.
Yeah. And I feel like Travis would do that too.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he did just break her chair on the podcast.
True.
With Jason.
And then Kylie was like, did you tell Taylor that you broke the chair? He's like, I did.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
By the paint in the color of your eyes and graffiti my whole damn life.
Well, first of all, like, we were just talking about how Showgirl is kind of the orange, you know, the orange album, but also like has this like greeny color to it as well. Like, especially the original album cover with like her in the bathtub. It's like this sort of, I don't know, how would you call it? Like a mint green?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is like a mint green, like leaning teal color.
Which is like basically the color of Travis's eyes.
Right.
But like the Showgirl, a lot of like Showgirl is like this orange with like this green. And I'm like, well, she did kind of like include that as an Easter egg, I guess. Because it is kind of the color of Travis's eyes. But she wants to graffiti her whole damn life. So like she wants him everywhere.
Yeah, like she can't get enough of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want you everywhere. All over me. All over my life.
By the paint and the color of your eyes, I want to buy it. I want it everywhere. I want to see you everywhere. I want to, you know, have you with me everywhere. So
also, she's not saying like, I want to paint every room in my house. She's like, I want to just like spray paint it. I want to like write your name with like, I just want to like throw it around.
Yeah.
and
graffiti is something that happens outdoors, like publicly. So it's like, I want everyone to know how obsessed I am with you.
And graffiti's on things that it shouldn't be on.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like, it's like vandalism.
Yeah.
And like people do complain about Travis being so involved in her life.
Yeah, they do.
You know, like some people do not approve of where she has placed him.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Cry me a river.
Yeah. Let her be happy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the bridge.
Okay.
When anyone called me late night, he was screwing around with my mind, asking, what are you wearing? Too high to remember in the morning. And when anyone called me lovely, they were finding ways not to praise me. But you say it like you're in awe of me, and you stay until the morning. Honey.
Okay.
I will say that I do think like a weak point of this song is her using the word morning twice.
Yeah. To remember in the morning, and you stay until the morning.
Yeah. Like, I know why she's like calling him, like calling back to the first morning, but I feel like typically she would do that in a more interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know that she's calling back to it, but you're not just like rhyming morning with morning.
With morning, yeah.
You know?
I did see an interesting theory about this bridge. So, like, the first couple lines, when anyone called me late night, he was screwing around with my mind, asking, what are you wearing? Too high to remember in the morning. Definitely feels Maddie coded, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But then also, when anyone called me lovely, they were finding ways not to praise me, but you say it like you're in awe of me and you stay into the morning. So that could be about Joe, because it's like lovely is a term that I think a lot of British people use. But it's a way to like not praise her. It's like, well, you know, Taylor is a lovely person, but, or, you know,
right.
Or I don't know, like, well, isn't that just lovely? It's kind of like diminishing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that might be like an interesting, like, you know, if it is about two people, like using that as like a tie-in, like the word morning. But anyway,
right.
Going back to what are you wearing too high to remember in the morning? I thought of this line from Smallest Man.
He said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning.
Yeah. And I think that ties even more into when she says, and you stay until the morning.
Right, exactly.
You know, like, if you're calling me late night, you're not screwing around with my mind. You're actually genuinely calling me to talk.
Right.
And then you also stay until the morning. Like, you're not full of shit, basically, is what she's saying.
You're not, like, saying one thing and doing another. Yeah.
Yeah, like, before she wasn't able to, like, trust anything these guys said or trust their motives. Yeah, like, calling is saying he was screwing around with my mind, asking, what are you wearing?
Right.
They're finding ways not to praise me, you know, which we mentioned this in Actually Romantic, but saying like the word lovely is like a way to like try not to praise someone. And in Actually Romantic, she says this.
It's honestly lovely, all the effort you put in.
So there she's using lovely in a passive aggressive way, kind of the way she's talking about how she used to hear the word honey used about her. So she's using lovely in that way to talk about the person Actually Romantic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's saying, like, you actually think I'm lovely and you stick around.
Yep.
It's like these little things that, like, I didn't know were possible, kind of, until you.
And it's not that hard.
Yeah. And it's, like, actually just so genuine and simple with you. And it's like, oh, this is actually just face value, like, what it is. You know?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. All right, let's just jam out to this chorus 3 then.
Yeah.
When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive at the bar, and the bitch was telling me to back off, cause a man had looked at me wrong. He looked at me wrong. If anyone called me honey, it was standing in the bathroom, yellow white tee. They were saying that skirt don't fit me, and I cried the whole way home. But you can call me honey if you want.
I do love how it ends on that. And also, we've got all the ad libs and stuff, but I don't know if it's in the rest of the song, but definitely here we have the backing vocal for Back Off.
Back off.
Back off.
Yeah.
Like she's actually just saying it like that. She's not singing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's just like I said, like a Sweetie Pie song. It's a Sweetie Pie
Mhm.
song.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some interesting things happening in the music theory side of it. So like I said, it's sort of an odd structure for a pop song. It goes intro right to chorus, but I think that kind of makes sense for the overall theme of what this song is about. It's about like confidence in your relationship. She's like, I'm telling you right now.
Mm.
Also the opening piano chord, I just want to play this again really quick. And
Okay.
it does sound very much like John Mayer's Waiting on the World to Change. So hold on.
You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want.
We keep on waiting.
Yeah.
Also, low-key sounds like When Emma Falls in Love, which I don't listen to all the time, but has a similar, I guess, chord progression in the piano line.
Mm.
I mean, the bass line slabs. There's so many good things. Like, there's even like a little banjo. There's like a little flute.
Mm. Yeah, like the jazz flute. Also, is the bass in this an upright bass?
I don't know. It's a great question. Hold on.
I should have checked the liner notes, but that's another thing that makes us have that like jazz element. Like once again, we get that showgirl through line of the jazzy stuff in this.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun little jazz elements to this. Let's see here. Okay, we have keyboard, guitar, bass, tambourine, Wurlitzer, banjo, upright bass.
Okay.
Also a trombone and tuba and clarinet.
Wait, did it say flute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I assumed we knew the flute was on there.
Okay.
But yeah, the banjo in the like third chorus is really fun.
Where's the banjo?
Here, you'll hear it. Here you go.
When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive at the bar, and the bitch was telling me to back off, 'cause a man had looked at me wrong. He looked at me wrong. If anyone called me honey, it was standing in the bathroom. Yeah.
It's mostly in the beginning of the section. It's super light.
Yeah, it's like way in the back.
Yeah.
But like, how would you classify this song? Because to me, it's kind of like R&B plus jazz plus pop.
Yeah, I overall quantify it as pop.
Yeah.
But then like with elements of R&B and jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting juxtaposition of genres.
It's fun, which I can see them recording this and being like, this is fun. We should keep this going.
Yeah.
So
I
kind of like what she said. So
I'm excited to see more jazz elements in like future albums of hers.
Yeah, it's a good vibe for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like outwardly jazzy. It just has like these little sort of nods and like little treats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
How about favorite lyrics and ratings?
All right. Here's my favorite lyric.
And when anyone called me lovely, they were finding ways not to praise me, but you say it like you're in awe of me, and you stay until the morning.
Yeah. I guess I like kind of relate to that because I definitely had ex-boyfriends who would do basically anything to not compliment me. Like they would come to like shows and like whatever, and they would be like too cool for school. They were like, yeah, the production was cool, but like they wouldn't ever like be like, you were amazing, like, you know.
Yeah.
But then like with Luke, it was like the exact opposite. He was like,
yeah,
who is that? Like, so
Luke is so not like that. Luke is more like, okay, I think what you did was so cool, and let me tell you in great detail how I've analyzed it and what I think.
And can I ask you a question? Like, were you thinking about this when you were doing that?
And you're like, no, I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how. Yeah, exactly. So the first time,
like I started writing an essay in my mind about like what I think's happening here.
Yeah.
What do you think's happening here? And you're like, dude, I don't know. I just like did a thing.
This is why like when I met Luke, it was like, I'm not used to this energy because like every ex-boyfriend was like, yeah, the musical was cool. Like it was fine. Like it was good.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like they would never actually compliment me. And I'd be like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And then like the first conversation I had with Luke, minus after like we figured out we liked the same song, was him saying, actually, the first time I saw you was like you playing Roxy Hart in Chicago. And I thought, who is that? Like, why? Who is that? And like, that was so good. Like, how long did you train for that? And like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? Who are you?
Yeah. You were like, back off.
Yeah.
That's so funny too, because
but like
when I dated Luke, one of the things
the lore drop.
Because you know, Luke can ask such like probing questions, like really thought-provoking questions. And there were like a couple times where he had to tell me like, hey, it bothers me that like I'll ask you like these questions and you don't ask them back to me. Which is totally valid. And
sure.
Like, it's something I still think about, like, you know, but I remember telling him, like, I think that's because I'm still thinking about your question for me. That, like, I haven't even, like, come to the other side yet to be like, well, what about you?
What about you? Right.
Right. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to, like,
sometimes that energy can, like, really throw you off, too. Because, like, one of his favorite party questions was, like, what do you love?
Right.
And you're like,
we just met.
I mean, that's a great question. Yeah. And like, if you don't ask him back, it's like, well, I'm still kind of overwhelmed by the fact that I'm still processing my answer. Yeah.
We have to get Luke and Josh on the pod at some point.
I know. Yeah. So that lyric to me is like, I was like, I get that. That. Right. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a 9.0.
It's a solid song. For me, it's a 9.1. Also, I think for our next episode, which is the last song, I think we'll each do a final ranking of all 12 tracks for us personally. And then I will cross-reference that with our actual ratings to see if it lines up.
Yeah. Okay.
So don't peek at your scores.
I won't.
Just make the list and then I'll check them.
Because these things are still changing. Like,
I know. It changes like all the time.
Yeah.
So that'll just be for a snapshot, a moment in time where we're at.
All right.
But then, that's why I think it'll be fun to put it up against what actual ratings we gave them.
Yeah. I think that'll be good.
Yeah. So anyway, I gave this, did I say this? I gave it a 9.1. Mm-hmm. So I feel like my top 3 to 4 songs on this album are probably all like 9.1s, maybe 9.2.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite lyric.
Warped by the paint and the color of your eye, and graffiti my whole damn life, honey.
I just think that line is so fun, and it's such a cool and vivid way to express how she feels about this person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who says that?
Yeah. It's like, it's such a poetic way to basically be like, I want you everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also not like so poetic that it's quill pen.
No. Yeah.
This is like glitter gel pen poetry.
Yeah.
But it's still poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's fun. All right. For this song as a recipe, you did what I did last time.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I'm co-signing.
I'm co-signing this because number one, I love this cocktail.
Yeah.
Such an easy. It feels medicinal too.
Yeah. We're talking about a bee's knees cocktail, which is gin, lemon juice, and honey syrup. Like, honestly, it is a perfect cocktail.
It's so easy to make, you guys. It's just like, put the gin in there, put your lemon juice, put the honey, stir it up. And like, you can make your own portions of whatever. It does feel like low-key medicinal. Like I said, it could be like an old witchy like honey brew. Like, you know what I mean?
You have a cold, let me make you a bee's knees.
Right, exactly. In the olden days, they'd be like, honey, you just got to suck this down. It'll help you sleep, Right. So.
Yeah. But yeah, like, amazing cocktail. We've got the honey in there, of course. It's like this really pretty yellow color.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like sweet because it's like Taylor and Travis both think that the other one is the bee's knees.
Yeah.
And this is a sweet song. And it's also a little like tart and punchy, like this cocktail.
I've also made this with whiskey, and it's very good. So,
I think is that called the Gold Rush?
I think so. I think it's pretty much the same thing, but whiskey. Yeah.
I love that one too.
That's really good, especially if you like whiskey. So I like gin, and the gin and whiskey are like my favorite, alcohols of choice.
And my favorites are whiskey and tequila, and I bet this would also be amazing with tequila.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably anything.
Yeah,
throw vodka in there.
My uncle
thing of choices.
My uncle Bobby, who lives on the West Coast, we hosted some sort of gathering at our house when we first moved in, and they were in town, and we were having people over and having pizza, and I was just we were making a bunch of bee's knees for people because it's like so easy to just like
right.
And he was like, I've never had this, and I was just like, it's so easy. It's just this three, and he like is obsessed with bee's knees now. It's like his favorite cocktail. So yeah, shout out to Uncle Bobby.
Okay. Shout out.
Shout it out. All right. All right, guys. Well, this was a short and sweet little episode.
Yeah, short and sweet. That was
just
funny.
like this song.
Our penultimate song.
Yeah.
Showgirl.
We got one left, and then it's curtains on Showgirl.
Yeah, crazy.
No bonus tracks or anything.
Not yet.
Just like she said.
Getting any.
She said 12, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is it, guys.
Yeah.
Just 12 more remixes.
That's true. We have remixes to look forward to, I'm sure. So, yeah. Hopefully another music video too. That would be nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. If you're supporting the pod, you would be following the following things. Us on TikTok, us on Instagram, and on YouTube at Blank Plate Pod. Please. Please.
We're trying to hit 1,000 on YouTube.
Please.
So please subscribe.
Yeah.
Even if you never watch our videos over there, please subscribe.
You can see our faces.
And you can check out our website at blankplatepodcast.com. You can email us at blankplatepod@gmail.com. And you can leave us a voicemail or text us at 717-382-8313.
And if you're enchanted by what we're doing here, you can support us on Patreon, which is linked in our show notes, or you can go there directly at patreon.com/blankplatepodcast.
And until next time, we had the time of our lives with you.
And it's time to go.
So bye.
Bye.